Hello, welcome to Brainscapers with Brooks and Roots. Today we're going to talk about, by the way, I'm Roots, that's Brooks. Today we're going to talk about pruning a damaged hydrangea standard that the damage happened in a windstorm the other night. But I want to start with this so that you can understand what the plant looks like as a shrub form before we move on to the one that's a tree form that has damage from the wind. So this is what we call Limelight Hydrangea. This is the shrub form, absolutely fabulous plant. Full sun hydrangea can actually tolerate quite a bit of shade, but full sun to me is where they look their best. So this is a plant that blooms on what we call new wood. That being said, in the fall or early spring, usually early spring, these are cut back to about 2 feet, 3 feet high, depending on how much privacy or screening you want with them or how large you want them to get. If you don't ever prune them, they can go 8 by 8 easily. So with these, we like a little bit more compact form, and we like them to have a little bit more rigidity in their growth for the summertime. So that being said, these did not suffer any problems at all with the storm. These were cut back to this far this spring, so this is all new growth. On the new growth is where the new flowers grow. Whereas compared to like a old-fashioned lilac, which you might be familiar with, if you prune those this time of year or late summer, early fall, the problem that you're going to have, and this is mid-August for us, you still actually have a little bit of time frame window to be able to do that kind of pruning on lilacs. But say we're another 2 weeks in. You don't want to prune on a lilac any of that growth that's by the end of the summer, because that's where your flower buds are set for next spring to bloom. Since these bloom on new wood or this year's wood, you can prune them as much as you need to shape them up or get them to have a size and shape that you want them to be at for the summertime. So the reason I'm talking about this is because when we move forward to the tree form hydrangea, you'll understand why we've taken it back so much. So Limelight's basically, the thing I like about them, they start out this bright white, absolutely brilliant, beautiful color in the summertime, great cut flower, great cut and then made into a dry flower for Christmas or the winter. But they're white, and then they'll turn this beautiful lime green, and then as the summer goes on, they'll turn to a pink color. There's another variety of this called Little Lime Punch, which is a dwarf version of it, that goes from white, lime green to a really deep pink, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So with this, these were cut back, but this year, they'll probably, by the time the summer's done, will go another 2 feet at least. So from there, what we will do is we will move forward to the tree forms of these that were damaged in a storm, so you can see how we can cut them back, shape them up, and salvage storm damage, and so they'll be great by the end of the summer and be great for next year. Today we're going to talk about, I've called this rescue pruning for this hydrangea standard. What this little guy is a Limelight Hydrangea shrub that's considered a standard form. Standard means tree form instead of growing from the ground shrub form. And we'll show you what shrub form looks like with this in a little bit. So with this, what happened is this was planted a year ago. This spring, it was cut back fairly hard to a nice round ball, which is what you do for the maintenance of it. But then we have had an incredible amount of heat, humidity, you name it. This thing, all of these have grown like crazy, which is great. Full bloom, beautiful. Problem being, we had a pop-up storm the other night, pretty ferocious winds, and this one and a few of the others in the landscape all split. This one has a pretty good split on the side. She already pruned that branch off. That will heal and scar back over, but the rest of this is going to just look unsightly for the rest of the summer. So what we're going to do is kind of a rescue pruning. And we're going to take it back to a small ball, take all the flowers. She'll have a nice big vase of flowers for inside the house for a few weeks. Of course, she can dry them. Hydrangeas dry great to save and use for a Christmas tree in the wintertime. But right now we need to get this under control so it doesn't split anymore, since it's already done it once. So what we're going to do is we're just going to work our way back. I'm going to look to where there is a leaf junction, two leaves across from each other, go right above that, and start making the pruning cuts. So basically what we want to do is just try to get it to a nice ball shape again. With some luck and weather, we'll get a secondary bloom with it. So again, main thing, watch out for your fingers. Number one rule of thumb. I know from experience, you gotta watch where they're at. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just making small cuts approximately the same distance from each other so we can maintain the shape. It's not going to look beautiful for a little while, but at least we can save it, get it back in some order. So limelights are hydrangea that grow their flowers on what we call new wood. New wood being the growth that has grown on this spring. So the maintenance of these guys, normal maintenance, is I like to leave the flowers on in the fall. They go from white to a lime green to a pink. That's why they're called limelights. And with that, the flowers are just gorgeous. And again, I like them on till late in the fall through the winter. Early spring is when you would come back and do a pruning just to kind of get them back to the shape we're going for right now, which is just a kind of a low, rounded look. And sometimes it's good to start on one side, work your way around to make sure you're not taking too much weight off of one side so it gets lopsided. And it may take a second pruning after that to, you know what, so on this one, this branch here, you can see where this huge split came off. I'm going to go ahead and take this off just for the weight. I'm going to prune it up fairly close. And then come back to these guys. So these are great little ornamental trees, but sometimes they can be a little problematic. Again, when we have a big storm in the summertime and they have all this top growth on, this is one thing that can happen to them. Doesn't always happen. I mean, actually, it doesn't happen very often at all. But if so, this is the way you take care of that. And so you can kind of see, I'm just trying to get it into...
Right there, get that one right there.
This one?
No.
Right.
Right there. You're sticking way out.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's always good to step back around, look at it from a couple of different vantage points so that you don't take... It's like getting a haircut and somebody cuts one side too short, you can't glue it back. So that's what we don't want to do. So anyways, a little quick pruning, get it back into shape. It'll be as good as new in no time. It already is starting to shoot out new flowers, so I think she's going to have a nice bloom with it later on. It just won't be as dramatic as what it has been the last couple of weeks. But gardening is all about patience, and some things just take a little bit more time. Sometimes you just have something come up like this you just have to deal with. So you do the best you can do with it. Looking better already. And then you want to stand back, see if you got it kind of even. I'd say it's close. I'm going to go ahead and take it over too. So there you have it. Now it's in good shape. The new growth will come on. Hopefully we'll get some more flowers. We've taken some weight off of it. The other trick with these is you don't ever want to not, I don't know, I try not to skip a year of pruning. Because if you do, then the top outgrows the trunk. And so by this pruning every year and getting it back in shape, the size of the trunk will slowly grow and get bigger and catch up with the weight and the size of what the top of the plant is doing. You may have seen that with lilac standards, dwarf tree, Korean lilacs that are grafted onto a tree trunk. On those, if you don't keep the tops pruned back really well, then the top outgrows the base, and when you drive around you'll see everybody has these big beautiful lilac standards and they're all leaning at an angle because the trunk and root system can't support all of that weight. So we've kind of corrected that, and this baby should be fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining Brainscapers today. That's Brooks, I'm Ruth. Please like, please subscribe, and share. And tell us what you need, and we'll be here to help you. Thank you, have a great day.